Balancing your neurotransmitters is one of the essential first steps to healing from health issues. I'm Jennifer, an integrative healing practitioner. Our neurotransmitters play a crucial role in many processes in our body. One of the major things they do is regulate our mood. I dealt with both depression and anxiety off and on for a while, and I used to think that there wasn't much you could do about depression and anxiety unless you took medication. That is definitely not the case, though. There is so much we can do, and in fact, once we work on balancing our neurotransmitters, you'll see how many other processes in your body start to function better. What exactly are neurotransmitters? Our neurotransmitters are the chemical messengers in our brain and nervous system. They transmit signals between nerve cells and other cells in the body. They help regulate a lot of different functions in our body, like mood, sleep, heart rate, and immune function. Serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter you've probably heard about, is our feel-good neurotransmitter that helps us to feel calm and happy. Dopamine, which you've also probably heard of as well, is our neurotransmitter that helps us with drive, motivation, and focus. GABA is another fairly well-known neurotransmitter that helps to reduce nerve activity and prevent overstimulation, which can help you feel more relaxed and less anxious. Why is it important to balance our neurotransmitters? Imbalances in neurotransmitters can lead to mood disorders. Low serotonin and low dopamine are usually associated with a depressed state. High levels of serotonin and dopamine can be related to anxiety, restlessness, and irritability. Low levels of GABA are associated with anxiety as well. Serotonin and GABA are both important for regulating sleep. Serotonin is needed to produce melatonin, which is the hormone our body makes that regulates sleep. GABA helps calm the nervous system, which promotes relaxation and sleep as well. Having balanced neurotransmitters is also important for our stress response. The hormone cortisol, which we produce during times of stress, helps our body respond and deal with the negative effects of stress. Cortisol is meant to protect us. However, high levels of cortisol due to chronic stress can lead to weight gain, high blood pressure, a weakened immune system, anxiety and depression, difficulties with memory and cognition, and sleep disturbances. Serotonin is not only in the brain, but about 90% of it is produced in the gut. It plays a role in regulating digestion, so imbalances in serotonin can lead to digestive issues like irritable bowel syndrome. Now that we know what neurotransmitters are, what they do, and some of the health issues they can cause if they're not balanced, how do we balance them? The first thing you need to look at in order to balance your neurotransmitters is your genetics. The MAOA gene indicates how quickly or slowly you break down serotonin. If you have mutations on the MAOA gene, the gene is upregulated and you probably break down serotonin slowly. If you don't have mutations, you probably break down serotonin more quickly and may need some serotonin support. If you have one mutation, it means you break down serotonin at a medium rate. The COMT gene is an indicator of how dopamine is broken down. Just like with the MAOA gene, if you have two mutations, you usually break down dopamine slowly. No mutations, you break down it quickly, and one mutation, you break it down at a medium rate. By looking at your MAOA and COMT genes, you can see how you should be breaking down both serotonin and dopamine. For example, I don't have any mutations on my MAOA gene, so I should break down serotonin quickly. This makes sense since I'm prone to getting depressed and need serotonin support. I have one mutation on my COMT gene, so I should break down dopamine at a medium rate. For someone who has two COMT mutations and therefore burns through dopamine slowly, they might have more drive and motivation, but that will only last so long, and then they might crash. So they could be more prone to manic episodes or bipolar disorder, especially if they're taking things like methyl B12, methylfolate, or betaine. These all contain methyl, which drives dopamine. So the supplements you're taking could be contributing to even more imbalance. It's important to keep your serotonin and dopamine in balance and not have one get too high or too low. Just because our body should be breaking down serotonin and dopamine at a certain rate, depending on our genetics, doesn't mean that's how we're actually breaking them down. This is because gene mutations aren't always active. Things like stress, diet, lifestyle, exposure to toxins can activate mutations. The opposite is true if you lead a pretty stress-free life, exercise, eat healthy, and limit toxins and chemicals. It can cause your genetic mutations to inactivate. Running an organic acids test to see how your body is actually breaking down serotonin and dopamine is another important part to knowing how to balance your neurotransmitters. Sometimes our body is missing the proper cofactors or nutrients that it needs in order to produce our neurotransmitters. Sometimes we need to add in a precursor, which is a substance that the body uses to make our neurotransmitters. Balancing GABA, the neurotransmitter I mentioned before that helps calm the nervous system, is crucial too. The GAD gene is responsible for producing the enzyme that converts glutamine into GABA. Mutations on this gene can disrupt the conversion. If you have one or two mutations, it could be contributing to anxiety. There are supplements and herbs that can help increase GABA production. I'm sure you can see why it's so important to balance your neurotransmitters. By running the proper tests to see what your body needs and giving it the proper support, you can help the functions in your body that neurotransmitters control, like mood, sleep, stress response, digestion, and immune function. If you want to dive deeper into depression and anxiety, check out my video on the root causes of depression and anxiety. You can find the link to the video in the description below. If you're looking for a practitioner and you think you might want to work with me, you can go to holisticwellbeingih.com to sign up for a free 20-minute health assessment.